Trump is such a big fan. By the way, I just saw that now the threat of the tariffs in Canada, that's gone. And then Ontario, Ford says, all right, then we're not going to whack you on the energy. So the people keep thinking that the reason he is, with just constantly rattling the saber, whether it's Greenland, we're going to come up there, or it's the Panama Canal, we're going to go down there and take that thing over. We're going to rename this. We're going to rename it. Is it just, I'm a crazy guy, I got a lot of crazy ideas.
I know words, I have the best words.
Sure, stuff like that. And then you see actions, right? So, we're going to throw a 100% tariff on this. We're going to do a 50% tariff on that. Does it bring people to the negotiating table? It stirs up the pot. And how much are you willing to risk? So the stock market takes a dump and everybody's all panicked, and then the recession, and then the talks of recession at 50%. Do you hold on, right? It's like the old Muhammad Ali. I forget who he was fighting when he did the rope-a-dope. His idea was it Holmes? I forget who he fought with the rope-a-dope.
Foreman? Maybe?
Was it Foreman?
I don't remember.
If anybody had a computer that would look that up, that'd be great. There's a thing called Google.
Oh.
So Muhammad Ali. Google?
Okay, got it.
I'm sure people listening is like, he was fighting so-and-so. Muhammad Ali's theory was, I'm going to just lay in against the ropes. I'm just going to put up and block the punches.
It was Foreman.
Foreman, okay. And he took some huge punches. And even George Foreman said, I hit him so hard. I've never hit anybody that hard before. I couldn't believe he was still standing. Well, Muhammad Ali took a wicked body shot that he carried with him for the rest of his life. And even Muhammad Ali said, man, that hurt. But all he thought was, if I can just last a certain number of rounds, he will punch himself out. And then once he's out of gas, that's when I'll take him apart. So Muhammad Ali, if you ever watch the fight, he's up against the ropes, and there's George Foreman wailing away at this guy, like Sylvester Stallone, Rocky, hitting a big hunk of meat hanging in some locker somewhere. And he is taking punch after punch after punch. And the idea is like, I'm just going to stand here, take these punches, and then I'm going to go on the offense. So does Trump say, I'm going to do all these tariffs, then everything gets all stirred up, and then the fear of recession and market and all this other, those are the punches that he's now taking. Do you then bring people to the table to try to renegotiate some of the current trade agreements between Canada and Mexico? I don't know. But people say, who's playing 4 levels of chess?
4D chess.
4D chess. I'm like, I don't think the guy's doing that, but
President McKinley, William McKinley, highly underrated, has not been properly recognized. William McKinley is an example. He was a big tariff president. He was a strong believer in tariffs.
Because right there he's wrong, because he wasn't, when he was the president, he wasn't a strong believer in tariffs. When he was heading the House Ways and Means Committee, he was a big believer in tariffs, because tariffs were all coming out of Congress. So when he got to be president, just before they shot and killed him the next day, he was off the tariffs.
I'm a fan of William McKinley. He was the tariff king. I don't think he was as bad as I am. I think I believe in him even more than him. A tariff man standing on a tariff platform. In the words of President McKinley, who is the tariff king, the protective system invokes the highest law of nature, self-preservation. The protective tariff policy of the Republicans has been made the lives of our countrymen sweeter and brighter. The tariffs are going to make us very rich and very strong. And we will use the hundreds of billions of dollars in tariff dollars to benefit the American citizens and pay down our debt.
Okay. Oh, my God. You can't compare the two economies anymore. Here's a quick sort of bit of history when it came to the tariffs and what McKinley did. So McKinley is running the House Ways and Means Committee and decides, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tariff. There's 3 reasons to tariff. There's revenue, that's money coming in, right? There's restrictions, that's we're not going to let you bring your stuff in here, and reciprocity, which is an agreement between 2 mutually satisfied customers. You do this for me, we'll do that for you, right? So originally they had revenue because there's no other way to fund the government because we didn't have any taxes. So it was all revenue generated by tariffs. Well, it worked so well, the government had so much money, it didn't know what to do with it. And it was and Trump has actually said this, we'll have so much money. Yeah, at that time, because we had no other way to be able to raise funds. So it all came in on tariffs, right? So he sets the tariffs in place. Well, then what happens? We end up going into a deep depression. We had tons of money from the tariffs. And then in 1890, I think it was, the people decide, you know what, Republicans, we're going to wipe you out of the House. And they take McKinley out. They went from 179 seats down to 86 seats in the House. Just devastated them. The American people said, out with you and all of the stuff because we're paying this. This ends up being a high tax on all of us. So then McKinley runs for president, gets in, and wins. And then he says, no more of raising revenue with it, no more restrictions on it. We want to do reciprocity. We want to be able to build stuff and have you buy it, and then you build stuff and we'll buy it. And then the next day, shot and killed. Not because of the tariffs, or it was a different reason that McKinley died, but McKinley went away from tariffs because he realized, hey, we were able to build up the economy when we were having restrictions in place, but now we need somebody to buy all the stuff we're making. And the difference is this: back in those days, they used to use tin to build everything. So like you could build a bucket in France and then import it. But then we started to be able to have our own economy and our own businesses to be able to build our own stuff here. And we didn't need to buy stuff from there. But then eventually we needed somebody to buy the stuff we were making. And that's where you had trade that was occurring. But to do it for revenue's sake, right now only 2% of the U.S. government's revenue comes in from tariffs. Now, if you want to build something, it takes, I don't know how many countries to build it. There's a great thing of Milton Friedman talking about how to build a pencil, explaining every single bit of what it takes to build a pencil. There's so many different parts that need to go into it. We're not just simply building the things on our own. And Trump's idea, which I keep thinking he believes, is that what we'll do is we'll high tariffs and then we'll start manufacturing everything here. Well, no business. What's it going to cost? How much capital? How much investment would it take? And how much security would some manufacturer know? Okay, we're going to move our whatever the machines are here into the United States. We'll build them here to avoid the tariffs. Well, how do we know the next guy coming in will not make a sweetheart deal for us to build the things here?
And how long is it going to take for them
to move? How long does it take, right, to move
manufacturing?
everything? Well, okay, Honda's come over here, but did Honda already have things in place? It's basically a way of, we're going to try to bring manufacturing back. It's not coming back. We still are number one when it comes to manufacturing, but certain things are going to be made cheaper somewhere else. Milton Friedman's great thing to build a pencil. He says, look at a pencil. Think about a pencil and what it would take. So the eraser on the top comes from a rubber tree. Who grows the rubber tree? Who cuts the rubber? Who manufactures the rubber? Who processes the rubber? Look at the paint. Where does the paint come from on that pencil? Where does the color of the paint come from? The chemicals that come from it. Look at the graphite that's in there. How much mining does it take to get the graphite? Where does that come from? Who trucks it over? Who then manufactures it? And the wood. Who grows the wood? He breaks the whole thing down. It's like 18 minutes. But he basically says that every single place, the reason the rubber tree and the erasers are made there is because it's cheaper there. The paint is made there because it's cheaper. The wood is made there because it's cheaper, to eventually you're able to get a pencil for 5 or 6 cents. It's because it's being made where the place can make the different parts of the pencil less expensive than if somebody were to try to build the pencil entirely on their own. As Milton Friedman ends with now, try to build the pencil on your own. You can't, not at that cost. So this idea that the U.S. economy is completely tied into the world economy, that's the difference now compared to when McKinley was in there, in 1896. But I still don't get it. I don't get it. I didn't vote for the guy, and everybody's, oh, you're just a Trumper. No, this makes no sense to me. Now, maybe Canada will move some of its restrictions. Maybe we will remove some of ours. Maybe it's just like the madman theory that Nixon had in place. Told Kissinger, make them think I'm insane. And then maybe they'll change their behavior. Is this Trump just acting like an insane guy and then everybody suddenly changes their positions because who knows what he's going to do? Is he willing to take the shots at the stock market dropping? A la Muhammad Ali up against the ropes. I can't figure it out. And I've read so much on this because I want to explain it to everybody to be able to make sense of it. And I cannot, for the life of me, see how this would eventually work. You can't tariff your way into revenue. You can't tariff your way with restrictions. Free trade must be in place. And I just don't get it. And even his commerce guy was like, oh, yeah, we're all in. Tariffs are great. You pay for it. The taxes on this, a tariff would be like a tax to the person. We just kill the U.S. economy.
Well, and the economies of Canada and even Mexico, I mean,
we're all tied in.
Right.
We're all tied in on this stuff.